on academic writing and publishing, hosted by the Gaselo Primary School in collaboration with Balani Infotech Pvt Limited. This webinar is based on the theme to explore e-resources as constant skills will assist in ethical writings. Our publications not only allow our scientific ideas to communicate to the world, but also mark our work as an intellectual contribution to the society. The more will be elaborated by our great speakers. Let me introduce our great speakers. We have two sessions. The first session will be held by Dr. Tarif Sharaf, Director, Balani Infotech Pvt Limited. He will talk on editorial aspects of publishing. And second session will be by Dr. Nikita Warger, resource person. She will talk on academic skill writings. And Mr. Sunil Kumar, product head, with Board of Thanks. This will be an opportunity for us to learn from each other and grow together. We will also take questions at the end of the sessions. And feel free to type in your chat box. And your e-certificate will be sent you an email. And now, without further ado, let me hand it over this floor to our great speakers. Hi, sir. Hi, madam. No. Hi, madam.
Hello, ma'am. I'll start with sharing my screen, your presentation, and simultaneously we will have the conversation as well. I am doing it in presentation mode. Yes. You might have heard so many thank yous. However, I'll start once again by saying thank you to Kencho ma'am for giving us this platform and for all the participants joining for today's session. I am Dr. Nikita Vanjani, Relationship Manager and Science Communicator, Academic and Corporate. One second, I'll mute sir so that there is no disturbance. Sorry for that. Today's webinar titled Academic Writing, Skills and Publishing. Be it a library professional, if I am a library professional, this session helps you to connect with the different researchers, faculties, and scholars. Or if I am myself a library professional and I am thinking of writing a research, not a research paper. For research paper, you have to conduct the research. Definitely a review paper, literature review. Type of secondary communication, because as a library professional, I deal with so much of library resource on everyday basis. I overview them. I have my perspective, my take. You want to write or you want to connect with each one who comes into your library. This session is for you. It helps you understanding the writing skills and using the publication resources for doing that. Before starting the session, let me tell you, scientific writing, because the title says that academic writing, skills and publishing. Let me tell you, research, conducting research and writing a research, it's hard work. It's all hard work. No one can take away from hard work and tell you, let's take this shortcut. For research, there is no shortcut. You have to do the research. It's a time-consuming, intensive process. However, these skills are here to do the work efficiently and effectively. It can help you in different time management, data management. The impact, the quality of your work will be improved. But definitely with these skills, hard work is the first skill I think we all must have, and we should embrace it. That's not going anywhere. Objective for today's session: an introduction to scientific communication. Conducting research, communicating it, has become a very prerequisite requirement in research right now. If you go for, if you apply for academic positions like associate professor, the first thing they will check, of course, your qualification. I think it's the second thing they'll check, or an equivalent thing is your academic publication. At the same time, if you go for any particular role in academics, or you go for higher education, scientific communication through different forms play a very important role in your career. 4 steps. These are, I have shortlisted. First step, second step, that will help you in scientific writing and publishing. As I said, hard work is not going anywhere. We have to do things in their entirety. But what can help you in doing things effectively and efficiently? Web tools and different publication resources are here for our assistance. The latest of latest, which everybody around the world is talking, is ChatGPT. So tools like that existed from long back, and the new tools are coming up to help, to assist us in the process of writing. What are those? We will take a look into them. To stay connected with Balani Infotech, for any questions and queries about our webinars, if you want to know about our webinars, if you want to know about our product, about questions like where is my certificate, where can I get the feedback form, please reach out to us. I'll share my email ID. Balani Group, Dr. Tariq has spoken in length about it, the services that we provide and the services that we are ready to provide in building libraries. Definitely, leading name, we started with books in 1987, then Balani Infotech 2001 for e-journals, and iGroup for e-books and print in the year 2007. With changing time, libraries are changing because the resources are changing with the expansion of internet, and that is how we at Balani Infotech is also we are also changing. I would like to stop my video, not the audio, so that there is no disturbance and the presentation is clear for everybody to view. An introduction to scientific communication. Let's move ahead with this title. What is scientific communication? Basically, whatever research we conduct, the research we are conducting in our institute, college, university, industrial organizations. In industrial organization, it is there in the public, for the public benefit of the public, so they keep it private. However, the result of that is there for public use. Scientific communication means effective dissemination, spreading of information. The research that we conduct has to do social, political, and economical impact. It has to have. Otherwise, why we are doing this? When I did my PhD research, the basic concept in my mind was the social impact of it. I conducted my research from Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai. I accomplished my PhD in the year 2020. What was my understanding in doing research? I actually did a research in waste management.
मैम एक पूछना था, ISDM में आपने जो एक भेजा था.
Sorry for the disturbance. I conducted my research keeping in mind the social impact. There was waste produced from oil, the oil that we consume every day. Seeds are utilized in extracting the oil. We get a lot of seeds, and that's a waste. So we try to create byproducts out of it that will be useful for human beings, and the waste can be utilized. So one or the other impact it has to draw the attention of different stakeholders like government, industrial, and a scholar like me, who is just doing my literature survey, and I want to know what research I should do in my PhD, in my master's. there also this research that we communicate helps in the process. And that is why it is very important to communicate science. It also builds the visibility and implementation of the work we are carrying in our own organization. Let me give you an example that will sum up the entire feeling that I want to convey. Penicillin is the best example I take, because I read it somewhere that no discovery, if it is not utilized for the social, economical, and political domain, if it is not utilized for that, it is waste and it will disappear. For example, if the work of Ernest Dawkins in 1897, if the work was there available on public, of course back at that time there were no e-resources, but if it was communicated, the work of Ernest Dawkins in 1897, if it was communicated, penicillin would have discovered way earlier. Penicillin was discovered in 1928, but the work of Ernest Dawkins that shared the information on interaction between E. coli and penicillin, this work was conducted in the year 1897. So hundreds of years, just because the idea was not there in the public domain. That is how the research, communication of research is very important. And how you can communicate research is through primary communication and secondary communication. These are two forms of communicating. What is primary communication? Primary communication, it means those sources that provides first-hand information of whatever events, practices, or conditions first hand. It's not been shared earlier anywhere. So that is primary communication. This has been not shared with anybody earlier. This is primary. Secondary, on the other hand, is not the first hand source, and it is an interpretation of the work that is available somewhere or the other. It is available in the public domain, and it is an interpretation, filtration, or editing of the existing data. That is called secondary communication. Let's see the example of primary communication. Primary communication, first-hand information. Example are original research paper. Original research paper, the research that we conduct and we are going to publish for the first time. And that is also one of the criteria in scientific publication of original research, is it should not be published earlier anywhere, and the data should be novel. So it's a primary. Thesis and dissertation. If it's a master's thesis or PhD dissertation, that is also primary communication or the primary research, because first time we are doing it, an individual has performed it, and it is they are writing it in form of theses. In conferences, there are different conferences that we as an individual go there and attend. We do publish in conference proceeding journals our research work, or we also give oral and poster presentation. That is also a form of primary communication. However, review paper. What is a review paper? That's why I said, as a library professional, if we are going, if you have if a topic interests you on the current topic of library professional, any current topic, you're reading so many articles about it, you are good to write a review paper, because it is a comprehensive understanding of what you understood on reading so much of data, and you can have one paper written on your name. So that is secondary communication. Literature review. Literature review is overview of the work that is previously done. So somewhere review paper and a literature review are similar, but yet they will have their own format. For that, we have to check the publication guidelines, and there everything will be clear. Meta-analysis is also secondary communication. Meta-analysis means quantitative study. It's a quantitative study that is designed, that uses the result of previously available data. Whatever data is previously available, we are using that, and deriving a conclusion. So that suppose for an example of phenomena we have to explain from the data that is already existing, that is called meta-analysis. Again, as an individual, we all can do meta-analysis and have a paper on our name. Chapters in books, sometimes, most of the times, the chapters are also an understanding of the existing data. Speeches, like Dr. Tariq sir has given a speech today, it's a secondary form of communication, because nothing sort of original. It's not a first-hand. Balani Infotech, for an example, information about Balani Infotech is something that we all talk about. So that is also an example. Speeches. Sometimes if it's a first hand, we are sharing an information, that speech can be a primary communication as well, because we have not shared it anywhere else. Editorial section, even in newspaper there is an editorial section, even in scientific publication there is an editorial section, where editor is sharing their own views on particular area, that can be also calculated as secondary communication. These are certain tips for research in scientific communication. These are all connected, and I feel if I knew these tips, these are all my struggles of research, and if somebody just told me, I would have connected the dots, which I connected by the end of PhD on my own. But if I knew it before, it would be definitely easier. We understood why scientific communication is important. Scientific communication can be done by scientific writing. Scientific writing is the most common way of communication across the globe in a very, I would say, the impact is bigger. The impact is bigger. Different form of communication as our theses, oral presentation, etc. Each of that communication needs this. These are the tips that will help you in communication of theses or in oral or poster presentation. What are they? Thorough literature review. This is something very important, to do thorough literature review. What is literature review? Basically, in any research, performing literature review is very important. Literature review, it means that we are conducting survey of literature that is already existing. Why? Because we do not want to reinvent the wheel that is already invented. We don't want to invent it again. It's of no use, and at the same time it will be it will come under plagiarism as well. We don't want to invent the wheel. That is also one of the main reason firstly. But at the same time, thorough literature review is very important. And from where you will do this literature review are the databases. Any research scholar who is coming to library must be aware of different peer-reviewed databases. What does peer-reviewed databases means? Those are trusted resources. If I just felt that if the researcher or anybody who is accessing the resources of peer-reviewed databases has maximum percentage to publish in peer-reviewed databases, because you're referring the content of high-end content and you will publish in high-end content only. So there are different databases. We will go through those databases as well, but thorough literature review is very important through different databases. Making an outline of your research, again, why it is important? Because once you have done a thorough literature review, for example, you went and did search about the different databases on computer science and engineering. There is so much of information. Having an outline gives you a lot of benefits. For example, if you are conducting your research, it's a very time investing process. For masters, it is 1 year. For PhD, it is 3 to 5 years. In this, so much you go through. If you have an outline, it will help you understand, firstly, when you can do the literature survey, you filter out. So much of data is available online. You filter out what interests you. That is the very important criteria. The end result of literature survey is to filter out what interests you and what are the knowledge gaps. This is also the fourth point here, the knowledge gaps. But what interests you will be something that you will be focusing on. Once you know what interests you, start making an outline. If you have an outline, it will help you understand, because as I said, 3 years, 5 years for PhD, with an outline, you will always know from where you started. You can make that outline in Excel, in Microsoft, or the old school method, which is the best, writing it in a book. But please maintain it, because I feel we all are so confident about, I'll remember this, and then we all forget, because so much to deal with in everyday life. Having an outline in while conducting research is very important to understand from where you started. Secondly, if some similar paper you see that is already published and something related to that you are doing, as we said, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. So again, deviating from that, it's a self choice, because we don't want to publish similar thing. Deviating from that will be our choice, and we can do that if we have an outline. It also helps you keep sorted. You don't feel overburdened by so much of research ideas, and you don't know what to filter out. So at that time, having an outline, please write it down in a book or a Microsoft document. It will help you. Narrow the research to the topic of interest we talked about. During the literature, we do narrow the research. Why it is important? It's in human ability or characteristic. If something is my interest, I will do the best in my capacity. If somebody is pressurizing you to do something and you do not like it, of course you will not do your best. That's a human thing to do. So if I like something of my subject area and I am using these tips, definitely the best of research is going to come out of you, and you are going to be more creative about it, more passionate about it, and the result will also be unique and novel. Identify the knowledge gaps. In every research paper, review article, or everywhere, knowledge gaps are there. One must do a thorough literature survey as well to understand what is the knowledge gap. What knowledge gap we are talking about is what work is been existing, is been done for that particular subject area, and what we could do. These gaps one must be able to identify by doing thorough literature survey. Be concise. Concise means what? Using simpler words and lesser words. Not simpler particularly, but using lesser words. For example, if we write a research abstract without seeing the guidelines of publication, after seeing that, it says 250 words is the criteria, but I have written my abstract of 300 words, and this has happened to me many a times, because we didn't know this such webinars, so we were trying to do the trial and error methods. We did write an abstract, and then I find a journal for myself, which is not a right way to do the publication. First, we must know the publication where we want to publish and write according to article according to that. That's the right way to do. But what I did, I write an abstract of 300 words where the criteria is 250. Now I have to reduce 50 words. Can I do that? Definitely, I can do that. And this is something that we all must consciously choose, is to use lesser words but make an impact. Sometimes my webinar goes over time. So I'm asking myself, could I have been completed this webinar 10 minutes earlier? Why 10 minutes delay was there? Could I have done that? And that's how being concise helps you. It's not taking away the important aspects of a paper, but in fewer words, you are making an impact. That's very important in literature, in scientific communication. Be organized. You have to follow a structure in research paper, especially in research paper. And this structure is introduction for I, M for methods, R for result, A for and, D for discussion. This is a structure of a paper. This was introduced in the year 1940. This format of uh, designing of a research article, but it gained immense popularity in 1970 after a publication of ANS IEEE standard showed the importance of writing it in this particular format. One of the benefit is this, that if we write in this format, the process of review is streamlined. And as a reader, please, if you all know that this is a particular format, I am sure you have read different scientific articles. They have a particular structure. With that structure, as a reader, it is very easier for us to also read. We know there it will be introduction, where the references are. References will be at the last. So it helps us to relate with the article and does not creates unnecessary trouble just to understand where I can find what content. So be organized. And organized, of course, nowadays everybody write in this format, but read the template guidelines, publication templates and guidelines. As I said, I used to do this mistake, and I know how wrong impact it has. Make sure you choose the publication prior, and make sure you write according to that, so that you don't have to do the double work and waste your time. Use simpler language, very important. We always talk about using simpler language when we read. We say, I'm not able to understand this, what they have written. Even if it's not related to your subject area, but if it is written in a way that you understand, anybody understands, then that's the benefit of the author, nobody else. Albert Einstein has said that writing should be as clear as water. If it should be simple, if it is not simple, you yourself didn't understand that. So doesn't it well explain itself? The language for communications should be simpler, so that anybody can go through it and understand it. And at the same time, if somebody understands the article and they relate to it, and they want to use it for their own research, you will get citation. So it also have the impact on the citation, because if nobody is able to understand what you have done, even if it is relatable, but the language is too complicated, then they will not cite and refer your work. So it will again hamper you. Share the research by oral or poster presentation. Here I was very hesitant during my master's to present. I used to feel, why I might not even win the first prize, the second prize, why to present? But the research, for research communication, it is very important. Winning is not important, but at this time, there is a lot of confidence that an individual can gain during such times. But at the same time, when you present your research on public forums like conferences, seminars, there is a constructive criticism as well as good feedbacks are received. So if somebody comes to you and asks you question, how you have done this, why you have not done that, when you explain them, you also understand where the work should be done. And it helps you before publication. If you do an oral and poster presentation, it helps your research to filter it for the better publication, writing it a better publication article. And then definitely these are such questions which a reviewer or an editor will also have. And if you have not answered them at this stage, definitely somebody else will have that question, and your article can get rejected. because you did not answer it sound. You feel that I have done enough, but look at from somebody else's perspective, their questions. So make sure you do perform this so that in the process of publication, you do not face any problem. Now there are different, we should all be aware of open access. Open access is something that is lot of momentum is going around it. So much of light has been focused upon open access. And times like now, open access is taking more and more attention. What it is? Open access is the data that has been shared online, and it is free of charge, free of most copyright and licensing restrictions. So whatever content you see online, it is been placed there by creator, by the author, free of any charge, so that we can read them and use that resources in our research. Like you can get inspired, you can refer the content, and you can then use, if you are referring something like this, make sure to give the references. In references, mentioning them is very important. So open access in one such platform where everything is available, and most of the publication you will see this type of image. It means open access. Even if you go on the database and you search something, if you click on the open access filter option, all the content that is open access, free for anybody to read. But some or the other is paying for that, because it's research. It's not the research requires instrument, research requires organization, research requires hard work, and I would say different chemicals. That is why the author or different funding agencies are there to support the research, and the amount is being bared by them. Gold open access, green open access, and license are the most common type where you can see the open access playing an important role. Gold open access is where the cost money, that is fee, article processing charge. You can see when in every publication, this is the area open access. If you want to submit your paper as an author, sometimes as an author, it always feels that if I upload a paper in any publication, be it impact factor is 15, 30, more than that, but if nobody is reading my article, because that article has subscription prices to pay, so of course as a library, if the library has the subscription, then the all the people associated with that library can access that. But as an individual, nobody can access it. So as an author, sometimes I take initiative so that everybody reads it without any barrier. That's something that comes to support science and its community, or particular community in which you are. So one such is gold open access, where article processing charge author pays and the reader gets full access, barrier free access. Green open access is there is an embargo period. Embargo period means what? In this period, it acts as a subscription, not as a subscription, but in this period, you are not able to freely read it. But anyone can, because as an author, I might feel that I have done so much of, it depends upon every individual. So I would not like to explain it what's going in their head, but I will definitely say that in this format, what you can choose is a certain period, embargo period, where your article is not open for everybody to read. But once this period is over, then it is freely available. And all information about this is available in Sharper Romeo. Sharper Romeo is online services that aggregates information about all this, because every publisher will have their own embargo period in which the article is not available. And when it will be made public, all that information in Sharper Romeo you can find. Another is licensing. If I am very concerned my work will be taken away and people will do plagiarism and whatnot, then licensing can come into play at certain time. And there are different patterns of licensing. Like CC is the Creative Common, but there are different patterns, CC BY. So there are some 1, 2, 3, 6 licensing or more. So if we are using this licensing, it means we are bound, we have bound our work to certain licenses and certain restrictions. For example, CC BY is a license. It means it gives license to distribute, remix, and build upon your work, provided the credit should be given to the author. So this kind of licensing is also available, which one should be aware in depth. Citation and impact factor. We always talk about we should not plagiarize and cite the author. What citation means for any individual, if it is not my words, my own, it didn't come out of my mind, I cannot put it in that way. Even if in research, what happens, if we feel that this is something novel and we go and do the literature survey and find that it's already been published, I would say that words, if these are not your own words, you should always cite when you're taking referencing from somebody else's. That's why I always say that do a thorough literature survey, because it might feel this is my words, this is my idea, but somebody has already conducted research on that. That is why it might be your word, but it's not the first time. It's not the first time it's been published. Somebody has already published. So again, certain scenarios like this can arise, and that's why checking your article by plagiarism detection web tool is very important, because it might feel the words are, and the plagiarism detection tool also access the article on the basis of the words, somebody else's work, but the words, continuous words, if you have just copy pasted. So plagiarism detection tool works on that. However, citation means what? You are giving references to somebody else's work that you have referred to. And then there are two types of citation. In-text citation, where in the research paper you can see one reference, two references, or sometime in the form of it all we write references. So in the text also we give references, cite the author, and at the end of the paper as well we do the references. It means we are citing their work. Impact factor is given by Clarivate company, and it has a certain way to calculate. One must keep in mind, because these are certain terminology that one sees in communication so many times, that we should be aware of. In 2022 impact factor for 2022, it will be released this year, and how it is calculated is by a simple formula, A upon B. For example, for 2022 impact factor, A upon B is the formula. What is A? A is, now every year you can see it will be released in the year 23, but which information? 2022. And the number of times, you see the year here, the preceding 2 years, this is the information one should be taking care of. The number of times the article which is published in the year 20 and 21, preceding year of this, was cited in index journal to the total number of articles that is published in this year. So this is the formula. Citation plays a very important role even in having a good impact factor. This is all connected. So citing not just safeguard yourself from plagiarism, but it also builds up to the impact factor. The first impact factor was published in the year 1975, and you can find the impact factor in journal citation report, which is the part of Web of Science. We will also overview journal citation report. And impact factor word was coined by Eugene Garfield, who can also be called as father of impact factor. Quality or quantity. This is also something, H index. Now, H index is an individual matrix that is given to any particular author. Like for example, you can see H.J. Kim has the highest number of citations and H index. Last year, Ronald C. Kessler was somebody who had highest number of citation, but it has been surpassed, and number one is H.J. Kim by South Korea. The subject area is natural science and physics. Oh, sorry. And these are the number of H index for the H.J. Kim. And this is for Ronald C. Kessler, H index. I-10 index, and these are the number of citation. These many people have cited the author. Now, what is H index? Why one must be aware of? Now, H index is calculated by a certain estimation. It is qualitative to quantitative analysis of an individual author. What does that means is that number of paper the author has published under its name. It can be any number of paper, and the citation they have received. It tries to keep an overall balance. It still has certain criticism involved, but let's see how it is calculated. For example, number of paper is this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 papers that I have published. For paper 1, I have citation this many. So it is always greater than, the citations are greater than the number of paper. Of course, 129 is greater than 1. My second paper has citation 76. It's greater than number 2. Then for third paper, citations is 18. Again, this number 18 is bigger than 3. For fourth paper, bigger. For fifth paper, again, the citations are enough, more than this, more than NP. However, for sixth and seventh, the citation reduced. That is why the H index is 5 for me. So this is how H index is calculated. The number of paper should have citation more than the digit, more than the papers. So you always know that 332 is the H index. It means for 332 is the minimum number of citation H.J. Kim has received for each article. For each article, it has 332 citation at least. So again, a very important metrics for author. I-10 index, it means at least 10 citation for every paper. So 2122, at least 10 citations are there for the paper of H.J. Kim. So again, few metrics. What is 4 steps in writing and publication? This is that we all should be well aware as a library professional or as a research scholar. We should all be well aware of the publication and different databases. Now, depending upon the subject area, the publication exists, and these publications are also depend on the databases. They can be also accessed from the databases. There is a what is database? We will also go through in detail about the different databases. But let's see, I have showcased a few examples here. However, database means what? These are the trusted resources. We already talked about peer-reviewed databases. These are the trusted resources. The work is being peer-reviewed. It has gone through peer review and then came in the public domain. For chemistry, American Chemical Society. For physics, American Physical Society. American Advancement of Science. Then this publication is for mathematics. For law, there is Elgar Online, Hein, Management, APA. So this is just to showcase that with every subject area, there will be different publication. And this publication can be accessed through different databases, peer review databases. Let's go ahead and see different terminology like Scopus. The Scopus database evaluates impact of journal that is in Scopus. So that's why we can see different impact factors. Impact factor that is given by Scopus based on the journal's impact that is in their own database. And they will evaluate, they will have their own evaluation parameters. Web of Science, this is Web of Science database, how it will look like. But Web of Science will have their own metrics and own evaluation for giving a certain rank to a journal. So Scopus will have their own evaluation, and this is for science, social science, humanities. It also has site score, and this all information can be found in Scopus. We have different search options like subject, area, title, publisher. Shimago journal rank. You can also, when you download an article, you see all these parameters up on the article page. So what are those? Shimago journal rank is an indicator that calculates total number of articles quoted in one particular journal and takes account the importance and prestige of quoting the journals. So it's a rank given to the article that gives that highlights the prestige. If some Shimago journal rank is given, it depends on their criteria, what is the evaluation, and upon that evaluation it highlights on the importance and prestige of that particular journal. Then another factor is hygiene factor. It is average number of citation of article published in certain journal of past 5 years. So this is average citations for past 5 years, and this information you can found in journal citation report. For legal journals, there is a website. Impact factor of legal journals can be found on the website of law journals. Moving ahead, this is how the database looks like. For Scopus, www.scopus.com is their database. And for Clarivate, mjl.clarivate.com this is how the website will look. And you can use all the filters here, like author search, all the filters here to evaluate what you're looking for. And similarly, you can browse through here for finding out the content from Web of Science. So these are databases that holds a lot of information, and lot of these databases, like for the example, Scopus has 71 million items, and similarly millions of items are there in Web of Science as well. So from this, from these are the content you're going to go through when you refer particular database. And once you refer those databases, this is how you are supposed to publish also, because if you follow the research of these authors and such databases, you will be inspired to publish in that database, because your work will be having that latest information and everything related that is important in publication. Step 2 is principle of scientific writing. These are principles. As a scientist, we talked about something you have to say very passionately. It is not 1 day or 2 day process. You should enjoy the work. Once you enjoy, that is the best output. You have to be a good writer and a good reader at the same time. A good writer can become a good reader, and good reader will be a good writer. Why? Because if you are writing, your writing should be in such a way that it should be clear, logical, and effective. Similarly, if you keep on reading, doing your literature survey, that is also one way that you will have so much to say that things will be easier for you when you will write. You won't struggle more. So writing and reading is very important. And enjoying the work you do is also very important. Whenever you write an article, make sure you have enough time to polish it. That is why I always say that, because I'm saying this from my experience, you should always have an article in third year of your PhD. If you have an article in third year, you will not be pressurized to publish an article, because that is an important criteria in PhD. At the same time, if you publish an article at the very end, like let me do my research and then I will publish, then you have less time. Once you have very less time, you get so much pressure, and then you fall on in the trap of predatory journals. What are those? We will also talk about that. Write your article in an interesting manner. Of course, it should have those tips we talked about. We should follow that. We have to write it simple, concise, but at the same time, if all those factors are there, I am sure your article will become interesting and engaging. Without taking more time, this is the step 3, very important: cloned journal and predatory journal. As I said, if one article is published, that's why research and research writing should be together. It should parallelly work, and it should simultaneously play a very important role in accomplishing your degree. Because if you do not publish an article, if you publish an article at the very end, your work will have an impact. You will be under pressure to publish it in very less time, and that is where you will be in this trap. And why we should safeguard ourselves? What is the checklist? ISSN number, very primary. Check whether it is included in the predatory journal list or not. That journal list in India, we have UGC care list. So here these are, and everyone has the journal list. There, please make sure is the article available or not. You can see, for example, this is the original document and this is the predatory document. If you submit your article here, it means your article is peer reviewed, it's trustworthy, and the research I can refer to. However, if it is here, it means it's not of good standard. It is not peer reviewed. Nobody will refer your article, and your research will have the negative impact because it did not accomplish. Your hard work has not been accomplished. Nobody is citing that article because it is in the predatory document. Unprofessional web page and domain is one such you will find in predatory journals. Lack of transparency. There won't be any editorial information. If it is a very prestigious publication, this information is shared. Sometimes the editors, of course, the editorial information is there. The reviewers, definitely, sometimes they are, of course, most of the time they are not mentioned. Who are the reviewers? That's second thing. But editorial information has to be shared. The standard of the published paper it's very quick to see the errors in the predatory document for some amount of money, or to trap somebody who is publishing for the first time. Then it will have a lot of errors. No DOI and ORCID ID. ORCID ID is a code distinguished for it is one ID, one code given to you. Like you have to register, go online, ORCID ID, fill some information, and one ID will be created in your name. I also have ORCID ID. So this ORCID ID is distinguishing my work from all the other authors. Similarly, DOI on publication, digital object identifier, is given to the article by the publication. ORCID ID is something that I as an individual can create for myself. So this will not be there available in predatory. Not mentioned, this is very important, it is not mentioned in different indexing peer review database. If it is predatory, definitely it will not be mentioned in Scopus, Web of Science, and different Rexis, different databases. One must follow these Committee of Publication Ethics, where all the ethical practices are mentioned in form of various articles. Go ahead, because if you are conducting research with changing times, ethics are also changing. So all the information you can find online. This is the structure of a research paper, a very visual guide. For example, we all know we have gone through so much of research paper, and as a library professional or somebody who is reading paper and is fond of understanding what's happening in particular research area, this is the format where the person who did most of the work is in first. The principal investigator is at the last. Abstract, as I said, is always available for everybody to read. It is freely available. What motivated? This is the literature review, where you give citations and what data, what work is already been done. You mention it in your own words. This is the research gap. Always in most of the research articles, you will find the research gap. And because to fill this research gap, you did this particular work. So make sure this research gap, read about them. And when you read different review articles, you will also come across the research gaps. These are the methods. This is the section for methods. Then graphs and pictures are also used at the very end. After performing the methods, there is certain limitations and weaknesses that you share. In result and discussion, you write the result, and in the discussion area, you discuss them. You try to answer that, yes, I have answered the particular question that I wanted to answer. And in the conclusion, you mention all the impact that your research will have upon, and that's the best way to engage the readers as well. This is a format of research paper. It's open access. You can see here this sign, it's for open access. This is a cross mark, which a red cross mark, which you see, it states that it is an authoritative version of paper. Because in medicine, what happens with the latest data, things keep on changing, the phenomena keep on changing, and then you always update that in the public domain in the form of latest article. So if you click on here on this cross mark, it will say that this is the authoritative version, or it will say the latest possible version of particular article. Scanning with changing time, you can also find the scan option, and here is the site score, and here is a DOI. Yes, everything I am sure vaguely you might be seeing these words are not clear, but you can see the format of the paper. And this is how, as a library professional, we all should be aware of, because every scholar is going through all of this and having issues. So this is something that adds up to your skills, and you should add up to the next individual skills by sharing them. That one should write abstract in this particular format. Of course, here background is clearly mentioned, methods and materials and methods is clearly, result and conclusion clearly mentioned. But most of the time, even without this in bold, you have to write in this particular form. These are in-text references, like 1, 2, 3, 4. These are in-text references. This is a table. This is how our research paper will look like. Conclusion, one para. However, if you see, these are extra things that one can add, and sometimes it is mandatory to add, like funding, conflict of interest, acknowledgement, and this is the reference section. In this blue, you can see this is DOI for each paper. Moving ahead, this is the peer review process, and it is very important. This is happening because I don't want to take, we have another 15 minutes to go. So in next 15 minutes, let's quickly overview. The peer review process is something where you submit the article. It is accessed by the editorial team. If the editorial says for revision here, then you have to revise or it is rejected right away. And it is where the web tools and publication resources will help you. Like editor will check plagiarism, editor will check English communication. Then it goes to reviewer. It is accessed by different reviewers. Revisions are suggested. Even after correcting those reviewers, correcting those revisions, your article is bound to accept or it can also be rejected. After the revision also it can be rejected, and if accepted it will be the publication is started. If rejected, you can publish it somewhere else. This is why I also say that please go ahead and do the poster presentation, share it with different people so that you get positive feedback, and in the peer review process, the chances of acceptance improves. Drillbit plagiarism detection tool. There are different plagiarism detection tools. They work on AI. What it does, it checks the continuous running word, the similarities of the words. 3-4 words are repeated just as it was in some other paper. It catches up on that. However, if research idea you have copied and you smartly write it and the plagiarism detection tool is not able to take hold of it, your paper, if somebody catches you, your paper can get retracted and it will get removed. And then reputation, it is also a matter of reputation. In every paper, references comes in different style: MLA, APA, Chicago, Harvard, and Vancouver. We have to write in this style. That is why, to safeguard ourselves from plagiarism. What does it mention is this information about author, date, title, source title, volume. This is all, but in different style it is there for the convenience. It's a format that they follow. And you can see there are different authors who can contribute to one paper depending upon their own contribution. That is also okay, but make sure your article is not plagiarized proof. Take support of somebody for concept, for somebody for sampling, data analysis, writing your work, so that your article is the best piece of research article. Once it is a subscription-based journal, subscription-based plagiarism detection tool, it has coverage of so many journals, so many theses, and associated with the content of so many publishers. And that is why when your article gets uploaded in subscription-based good content coverage tools like Drillbit, it will cross-check your article through so much content, and the result is trustworthy. Plagiarism detection tool Drillbit also checks in regional language like Hindi, Urdu, Telugu, Gujarati, Sanskrit, Assami. So it's made in India and different Indian languages. If you are writing your thesis in your own language, again, it will help you. And it also supports different languages, 100+ languages are there. So English, Spanish, Vietnamese. So these are the few examples of 100, covering 100 languages. Languil is one tool for English communication. Why English communication is important, we will definitely see, but these are certain features and certain product features that help you. Once you upload your article, these features will help you, be it thesis or be it any research article. Why English communication is important? It is because less than 15% of world's population speaks English, with just 5% of being native speaker. Yet English is an international and universal language for communication. It is reality. The articles number that is submitted to Western journal. We also have seen example like American Chemical Association, American Physical Society. These are journals. So Western journal cultures are more, these are considered more prestigious, more peer reviewed, most referred journals. So we try and publish in those journals where our native language is not English, but there it is English. For some high-end journals where rejection rate is mentioned on their platform, it is 95%, we get as a new author very intimidated to publish in this journals. And if English is not my first language, then it becomes more difficult to write an article which is grammatically sound with good English for proper communication. For high impact journals like PLOS and PNAS, authors are recommended. It is a service that writing services, and you have to pay for them. And such services these journals also provide, so that your article is written in good standards of English. If you're not ready to pay here, but make sure with a native English speaker, make sure you review your article. And that is why also Langville, if you upload it on platforms like Langville, where English learning, speaking, reading, writing, you're learning all this, but at the same time here you can see grammar assessment. In grammar assessment, you can upload your article and assess your article for good grammar assessment. In the process, you also learn. So it's win situation and very important in publication. Any publication requires authentication. So as IP authentication plays a very important role, either IP or user ID or password. These are the two ways where one can access different resources. Make sure to access those resources, make sure your device is IP authenticated. Web of Science, we saw a very peer-reviewed trusted database, huge database. It started from Science Citation Index, which is now called Science Citation Index Expanded, and Social Science Citation Index. These two indexes covers millions of articles, 50 plus millions, and it is a multidisciplinary. So if your article comes in these two indexing databases of Web of Science, there are 6, it is divided into 6, but out of 6, in 2 indexing databases, SCI and SSCI, then impact factor is given to that. So your journal should be in these 2 databases to get impact factor from Web of Science. Scholar One is a gateway management of Clarivate company that manages the workflow, like all the information. Once you fill in, upload your review article, original article, it is managed by Scholar One. This is another Science Citation Index Web of Science core collection, where you can find, this is the website link, where all the scientometric information, Web of Science impact factor 14. However, Scopus has given it 13, and the H index is 178, which is this journal American Association for Advancement of Science, this journal, and direct link is here. So make sure you follow this website so that you do not trap yourself in predatory. EndNote is another product of Clarivate, which helps you in reference management, and reference management can be very time consuming if you do it manually. Learn how to use different Zotero, Mendeley, and it will help you in managing those reference efficiently. Web of Science Academy is free to enroll. You can enroll here, and there are certain questions in your mind in terms of conducting research with integrity. Those can be answered here. It's an online training support in academics, free. There are free resources which you can access and get certified also on answering few questions. Now, every publication like ACS, it has diverse portfolio of journal. Make sure, do not just drive away from the name. Like ACS might be of chemistry related journal. I am publishing in electronics, not electronics related, it won't be there. No, do not have this thought process. Make sure to just go through what are the coverage that particular journal gives. For example, a journal like ACS, American Chemical Society, has coverage of agriculture, food, environment, biotech, education, electronics, energy, healthcare. These are the topics. However, related to this topic, they have 65 plus journals. So you have to make sure to select the right journal among 65 for you. However, these are the topics just for you to know that there are different topics. Every journal has different topics, and we sometimes just are not careful enough to go through them. Journal citation report. Now, ACS journal has also good impact factor, great impact factor, because it's most read, most cited, most trusted in chemistry. However, for any journal, if you want to find impact factor, go to journal citation reports. Here, by this, go to journal profile, click on the journal, and you will be able to find all the information, especially if you want to know total sites, impact factor, which year, which impact factor, then journal citation report is the place where you can find the latest impact factor. However, in ACS or in any publication, there are different resources where you can utilize for building up your skills in scientific writing and publishing. One such resource is ACS Author Lab, where this is one of the example of the information shared, which will definitely help you. Common errors in scientific manuscript. Of course, you can go through them and it will help you in the process of communication. Then ACS Reviewer, where I got to know about this word called salami slicing, where you one research in the greed of publishing number of papers, we kind of cut those topics and publish number of paper on one particular topic. So salami slicing is the word. You want to know more about it and different, you can go to ACS Reviewer. ACS Guide to Scholarly Communication is subscription based, but this resource is available and contains information that will again guide you in scientific communication. This is Publication Center. Every publication has Publication Center, and here you will find this information to register, login, select a journal. Once you select a journal, you will know, as we have already talked about, this is something you should do prior. While writing an article, you should simultaneously do this, or prior you should do this, but never at the end. Once you have selected a journal, you can submit in that journal, but all the information is always mentioned about what that journal scope is. Because if you do not invest your time here, you do not overview the scope of the publication, and you publish, you submit here, your article will be rejected by editor. We saw the peer review process where it goes to the editor for the first time. He checks, or he or she checks plagiarism, English communication, scope of the paper or not. If not in the scope, it will be rejected. And guidelines and templates are also here. However, Chem Archive is one such ACS resources. It is free to access. It is a pre-publication. Prior to publication, you can submit here, because publication is again time investing process. You can publish on Chem Archive, preprint server they are called. This, what are the positive advantages of uploading here? It gives you good feedback. Once you upload, just like in oral and poster presentation, it is open for feedback and constructive criticism, good feedback, so that you improve your article. Rapidly disseminate the information, and it gives you priority, because once you are trapped here in the publication process 1 year, and in between you see somebody else has published it, so the priority will go to that person. So that is also, and it also boosts discoverability, visibility, and the evaluation process as well. So debatable, should one upload here or not? You also get certain licensing facility here, but at the same time, and DOI, digital object identifier link is also provided, so that nobody claims it's there when it's your own article. This is certain example of language and text which ACS advocates. We talked about being concise in scientific writing, which was on the very first slides of mine, to be concise. This is one of the examples. There are 7 steps that must be completed. We talked about using fewer words. 7 steps must be completed. It is very important in science to use fewer words. American Physical Society is for physics. And here you can see they have 18 journal collection, one open access, and not one open access. There are these star ones are open access. We already talked about open access journal. One archive. Archive is that particular section where they store few years back dated information. They stored in the form of archive to preserve information. Archive are built. However, open access, here you can see the entire journal is open access. All the contents are free for the access, barrier free access for the readers to read. However, there are journals who are available in hybrid format, where subscription based and open access content together, they are published in one journal. However, in APS you can see entire journal is open access. This is American Psychological Association award-winning platform. Why? Not just this, but all the publication has this advanced search option, because lakhs, we saw millions of articles are available in Web of Science database, in Scopus database, using filters. We also saw we saw the image of the website. We saw there were also filters, and here are also these filters where one should use in defining their search to save time, to search what they are looking for, and not just overburden themselves with this is not of my use, that is not of my use. Just use these filters and it will help you in defining your search. You have to click on advanced search and all this will open up. This is different from basic search. Advanced search is available mostly on all the good peer-reviewed publication platform. These are different databases. However, academic writer, APA tool for teaching and learning effective writing is one such that helps you, assist you in writing a paper. This is an academic writer. We also give session, and there these resources, how to use this resource. This is subscription based resource. Learn using this platform, how to manage references using this platform, and helps you in writing, because there is particular template, a design is there, and in that designing you have to write all the content, and that way it feels more sorted and more organized way of writing. So this is also the different platforms of academic writer that helps you in writing. AAAS. Now every publication has this website which has so much to offer. Various offerings are there. In who we are section, what we do get involved. As somebody, I want to go through to check what is the journals they have. So here, please make sure to invest some time on this platform to know where and what you are looking for. In who we are, you can find this science journal, and here these are the list of journal. In AAAS, they have 6 journal, and out of this, science is their magazine, and news and commentary is shared here. All the latest information is shared in the science journal of AAAS. Mostly most highest impact factor journal, it is on that list. So science is that prestigious. All the others are also. However, Science Advances is gold open access journal. So gold open access, everything is available to access. SciM, one of the mathematical journal found in Web of Science. However, there is different on their website. This is the topics that they have shared. These topics, if I click on data science, and all the journals related to data science will come up. So make sure you scroll through the website, because now they have made it so user friendly, and this is the particular section where you click and you can access what are the journals related to. If for data science, if there are 4 journals, out of that, in which my scope of publication suits best, where is my topic suiting best, it will help you again in that process. Project Muse is different platform than other publication that we saw. On here, there are 800 plus journals, and 125 publishers content is available here. Project Muse is one of its kind for social science and humanities, where all the content related to that subject area you can find. 125 publishers are associated here. It means their journals, their books are available on this platform. Whatever content, open access content in the journal, you can find on this platform is as well. Accessing this platform is easy. Advanced search option is there. There are 800 journals, but using filters even in advanced search helps you access. It's very user friendly platform. Similarly, World Library is a platform where again subscription based, nothing open access sort of thing here, because it's a subscription based platform. Different for drill bit, Lankville, we also provide trials, so you can try in your own organization. But World Library here is subscription based. You can only access if you pay certain amount to access different resource. However, it is the largest platform for ebooks. Millions of ebooks are available covering all subject area, from physics, science, maths, all the subject area on World Library platform for books. These are additional categories, filters. You add keywords, and very important in scientific writing is to have good keywords. Then once you add those keywords, your article should come up. These are certain features as well. And stay connected with Balani Infotech. This is my email ID for you to just, if you have any queries, you can also go up on our website, and there also you can search and reach out to us on our website as well. But this is my email ID. If there is any question and query, we will be happy to answer. So without taking much more time, is there any questions? We would be happy to answer them. We are glad to organize this, and I am sure it helped you in certain way. So please, looking forward for all the feedbacks, be it constructive feedback or be it a constructive criticism. We are open to everything to serve you better. Kencho ma'am, thank you so much. And with this, I would now like Sunil Kumar, our product head, to give vote of thanks. I hope, Kencho ma'am, this session was useful for the library professionals in Bhutan. And thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you so much. We will also share certificates and feedback link, and looking forward to, and even criticism, we are open. Thank you so much. Sunil sir, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of Gaselo Primary School and Balani Infotech Pvt, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you who have graced this occasion with your presence. We are truly honored and humbled by your participation, and we sincerely hope that you have enjoyed the program. Firstly, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Ms. Kencho Dema. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. Librarian Gaselo Primary School, and Dr. Tariq sir and Dr. Nikita for gracing us with their insightful and inspiring words. Your words have truly resonated with us, and we are grateful for knowledge and wisdom that you have imparted upon us. I would also like to express my appreciation to our dedicated team of organizers and volunteers who have worked tirelessly to make this event a success. Your hard work and dedication have not gone unnoticed, and we would not have done with this without it. To our all esteemed guests, we thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us today. Your presence has added a great deal of value to this occasion, and we are honored to have had you here with us. Lastly, I would like to thank everyone who has contributed in a way towards making this event a success. Once again, thank you all for being a part of this special occasion. Your presence has truly made a difference, and enjoyed yourself as you have here. Lastly, we will be sharing a feedback form with you. Please make sure you fill your address or your name correctly. Based on that feedback form, our participation certificates will be given to you. So please fill the feedback form properly, and we will take care of the certificates and everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.